Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to convert at least 8 to 10% of people that land on your website into your email list using a high converting pop-up form. This is going to grow your email marketing channel to be bigger and better than ever, so you aren't wasting any more money on retargeting ads onto the same customers again and again. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so we're just in the doc now. You can actually find this in the video description. We can go in and have a look for yourself. But in this video, we're just going to walk through it together. So this is one of my clients where we doubled the actual conversion rate of the pop-up to over 12%. And in this short 5-minute training, we'll be able to show you how to build a pop-up so good that your customers are throwing their email at you. You'll be able to show off your product again and again to potential customers for a much cheaper price than retargeting ads. And you're going to be able to grow your email marketing channel to be bigger and better than ever. So again, you aren't relying on paid ads to be your main traffic source. So let's get into it. Now, why should you listen to me? My name's Kieran. I'm the owner of Compound Flows. Now, I've worked with over 15 plus e-commerce brands and have currently generated a total of 700,000 USD in revenue purely from email and SMS systems. And in almost all of these brands, I've taken their pop-up conversion rate to a consistent 8 to 10% or higher. Now, before you even think about it, yes, these results are just from a basic 10% discount or similar value-based offer, so you don't need to crush profit margins to actually make this work. And here is some other results that we've gotten: 10%, 8.5%, and 11%. And you'll be able to find my LinkedIn, X, and of course YouTube in the video description as well. Okay, so let's go over why this is actually important. As a general rule of thumb, the more people that sign up, the more revenue you're gonna generate. So a quick example of this is the welcome flow. Just because it's tied so closely to the pop-up, as soon as people opt in, they're going into this welcome flow. So if you think about it, if you double the conversion rate of people actually entering this welcome flow, you're simultaneously doubling the amount of revenue you're generating just from this one email automation. So if you're currently doing 10K in 30 days with the welcome flow, if you double it, that's 20K in 30 days, and that's an extra 120K in annual revenue generated, all by tweaking this one pop-up form. And I'm sure if you think about it, you can extrapolate this to your entire email marketing system because you're just getting more people through these flows overall. So you can see on this graphic here, we've got the same 1,000 people that land on your website. However, we have the double amount of people that enter on the high converting pop-up form, which means there is the same amount of people that actually, or the same percentage of people that actually make a purchase through going through this welcome flow. Meaning if we double the amount of people that enter, we're doubling the amount of revenue generated. So this is why I often say like the conversion rate on your pop-up form is probably like one of the most important metrics to actually optimize and just get right in your email marketing system. So let's cover why or what factors matter most. So this is ordered by importance in my humble opinion. So the first one is your offer. So what are you actually offering the customers in exchange for the email address? The second being the firing time. So when the pop-up actually pops up for your customer. Third being the copy. So what you're saying in the pop-up. And the fourth and the least important is like the graphics. So what like images are you using? So let's go over like a quick example of a high converting pop-up form. So this is the desktop version. We've got a clear, catchy header that's going to catch the customer's eye straight off the bat. Super simple. Want 10% off? Obviously, yes. We've got a small logo up the top just so the customers know that this pop-up isn't some weird spammy ad popping up, but is in fact from your website. And I like to use a side image here on the desktop version. Usually showing off maybe like a bestseller or a desired outcome, like a lifestyle photo with your product in it. And we also have a less appealing exit button where we make it obvious to the customer that they're actually losing out if they dismiss this. So if you can't read that, it says, "No thanks, I'd rather pay full price." Who wants to pay full price, right? Let's click the claim 10% off button. Obviously that's like the more obvious choice. So here is the mobile version of the pop-up. This includes a multi-step as well, but it has the same vibrant, clear call to action button here. And we also asked a question here for customers to segment customers later on down the line. and a clear success page here where we direct customers to go check their inbox, especially their spam and promo, in case they can't find our email, so they can find their discount code. So here's the 4 crucial steps. So we just went over these. These are the ordered and most important. So 1 being your offer, also known as the lead magnet. So this is the biggest decider on whether someone actually opts in or not. Obviously, if you have like a 50% off opt-in, more people are going to opt into that than a 10% discount. But of course, we don't need to do that. You can still achieve a high conversion rate just using a 10% off or something similar. Here is some other offers you can make, which may or may not work for your store. Buy one, get one free, get a free gift with purchase, an X dollar amount off from their first purchase. So this is good if your store has a high AOV. Enter a giveaway each month, free ebook, so maybe like a how-to on the product or some complimentary guide, or free shipping, survey, or quiz relating to your product. The second being the firing time. So this is like the second most important thing to get right, but it is highly dependent on what you're selling and who you're selling to. So for example, if you're selling to a younger audience, they may be expecting and be okay with like an instant pop-up. However, if you're selling to an older generation, they will probably find an instant pop-up intrusive and annoying. So generally, if you're not sure, I would say start with a simple 6-second delay. And yeah, you can't really go wrong with that. Klaviyo does have a bunch of different firing times, and I'd recommend testing all of them in A/B tests, but we'll get to that in just a second. So the copy, I would usually like to keep this short and sweet. Something catchy and easy to read works really well for like the main headline. We want to push the customer to take action towards signing up. So good examples are want 10% off, unlock 10% off, or how does 10% off sound? We always want to make sure to instruct the customers to make sure they're taking the actual task to find the discount code. So something as simple as putting an email address below, check your spam or promo box for the discount code. I know it sounds super simple, but you'll be surprised how well this actually improves conversions. So the fourth thing we want to cover here is the graphics. I wouldn't overthink this part. Just make sure to include your logo and also a bigger side image just for that desktop version. So let's move on to some other tips and tricks here. A really good one that I recommend everyone should do is optimizing and creating a separate pop-up forms for your mobile and desktop users. So for desktop pop-ups, I usually like to include that big side image here. For this example, we put it on top. But if you fine-tune your mobile pop-up here, we'll reduce like the clunkiness feeling and get it feeling a bit more smooth. If you spend enough time optimizing and testing this out. Obviously, if you're just trying to use the same pop-up for both devices, it's going to feel a bit clunky on at least one of them. Usually the mobile suffering, but that is where most of your customers are most likely going to be coming from. So I would highly just recommend just creating 2 separate ones and highly like optimizing them both. Second tip here is create an extra step before we actually try and ask them for their email address. So you can see this example down here. We simply just ask them, want 10% off? And obviously, like the obvious answer here is yes, of course. And the less appealing choice is no, I'd rather pay full price. So again, we're just asking this to actually take like a micro commitment from the customer. And as soon as we get that micro commitment, the chance of them actually completing through the next steps is going to be significantly higher. But again, I would highly recommend just texting this with your own e-commerce store because it may not work for your store in particular. So third tip here is actually limiting the amount of input fields into your pop-up. So we don't need to be asking their customers for their date of birth, their favorite color, their favorite pet, and their phone number all on one go. I wouldn't even recommend adding in a last name. We only really need just their first name and their email. And that's going to improve opt-in rate a heap. People don't want to give you all their information, or at least not straight away, nor do they really want to go to all that effort just for 10% off. So really good just to add in just the email or just the first name and email just on the first stage. If you want to grab their phone number, we can do that on like a second stage on like a multi-step, for example. So here's a good and bad example. Bad being we're asking them like 5 different things, and the good example we're simply just asking for their email address. So make sure just to keep it super nice and simple. Fourth and last little tip and trick is test out other pop-up forms outside of Klaviyo. So there's a lot of Shopify apps out there that offer this, where you have like a weird spin wheel, quizzes, and other mini games where it requires the customer to put in the email address for some type of discount code or free shipping. These can have very high opt-in rates. However, the downside is they usually cost a bit of money. And of course, if you are like a luxury woman's niche clothing store, this probably isn't a suitable idea. So the last and most important thing I want to cover in this video is A/B testing. This is probably the most important thing that you should take away from this entire video. So I would start by testing your offer, getting that down pat, then the firing time, the copy, and then finally the graphics. So again, if you aren't A/B testing this, you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Every e-commerce store is different with a different customer base. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. So the strategies I did talk about in this video does generally work very well, but you need to be A/B testing for yourself every 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how many customers you have flooding to your website, or once you're able to see a clear winner in those tests. So if you are an e-commerce store, I can actually build you out a free pop-up for you as well. All you have to do is book in a call, and we can talk it on from there. But if not, here's my social media links. Again, they're just going to be in the description, and there's a bunch more videos on my YouTube channel that you can also check out as well. So hope you learned something from this, and I'll see you in the next one.